You know, Murray, when I'm taking photographs of people, I always find there's a little bit of uncertainty. You know, do I ask them to pose or do I just snap them unsuspecting? It's really tricky, isn't it?
It can be. It certainly can, yeah. Francis Keating is a professional photographer who's taught in Budapest and Hong Kong as well as Australia, and he's a specialist in photographing people and portrait photography, and he joins us on the line now. Good morning, Francis.
Morning, Francis.
Hi, good morning. How are you going?
Very well. So do you ask people to pose or do you just capture what they're doing at the time?
Click away.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of both, I guess. Depends on the situation. It's kind of like, you know, travel or street photography, that kind of thing. It's more, just capturing the moment. If it's, friends or people you know, it's probably, you know, a little bit posed, but I guess probably, you know, the secret of a good portrait is trying to make it look as natural as possible without it looking too kind of staged.
Absolutely. And why do you think that the camera loves some people, like my sister, for example, who never takes a bad photograph, and yet other people, every photograph looks so painful and horrible? Like my mother, for example, who always looks like she's about to have an appendectomy with no, you know, pain relief when you take a photograph of her.
That's funny.
It's hard to say, I suppose. I think the photographer probably, you know, has a bit to do with it. And I guess that's probably where a few of the kind of, posing tricks come in to try and, highlight the best features and hide the worst ones. Just things like, for example, which probably sounds a little bit strange, but, trying to have a kind of strong jawline is a good thing in photographs. So your jaw doesn't kind of just disappear into your neck. You want to kind of, if you kind of slightly stick out your forehead a little bit, which sounds a bit strange, but it kind of, it helps to give you that kind of stronger jawline. Things like, maybe, if you have your arms, like just next to your side, then, you tend to look, wider probably. So, having some space between your arm and the side of your body is, a slimming kind of effect, I guess. So, they're just a couple of things that can help improve the way people look in photos.
What about photographing from above a little bit? Does that improve things?
That tends to, probably emphasize the eyes a lot, which is good. It probably also has more of a kind of like a passive effect, or it might also make the subject maybe look a bit more sexy or sultry as well.
That's always good.
Yeah, really.
Make you look more beautiful.
Right.
So if you're setting up a photo with friends, you can do all that, but if you're taking a photograph of someone without them knowing, it really is just hit and miss, isn't it?
I guess it is a little bit. Probably, one thing, as far as like travel photos, documentary kind of things is, if you have the time, I always, like tell my students, like, Cartier-Bresson would say is waiting for the decisive moment. And, if you can just see what's going on a little bit, maybe two people are about to kiss or shake hands or exchange of money or something, that just kind of really makes the photo, special rather than,
That
That
great.
becomes the focus, doesn't it? Yeah.
That was in that exhibition at Goma. Did you go to see that, the Cartier-Bresson exhibition?
I saw one a few years ago, actually, when I was in... I've been out of Brisbane for quite a long time, but I did see one a couple of years ago, which was very good.
Yeah, and they explained that, the perfect moment in the photograph when you're stepping into the puddle or, the action is really dramatic. Yeah. Great idea, Francis. Hey, now, what do you think about selfies?
Well, I'm probably not a huge fan of...
Gee, that's a surprise.
No, don't take too many selfies, but no, I guess, mobile phones are, I guess, seems to be the way of the future, and everyone's, becoming a photographer with their phone these days.
I'm trusting you don't use just your phone at your studio there.
No. I tend to like to use a good camera. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And do you use studio lighting, or do you rely on natural lighting a lot? You must like the winter lighting in Brisbane. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You get some really nice light. Actually, for portraits, outdoor kind of portraits, that cloudy days are really nice, where you get this really soft, diffused light coming through the clouds. That's much more preferable to really, strong, kind of harsh, sunny kind of light.
Yes.
So that's also something that, sometimes people just think, you've got to have a really sunny day, but it's worse. It's actually nicer when you've got some nice soft light.
And what's your fascination with black and white photography?
I've always been into it or preferred it. It's probably just thinking. Maybe I think with black and white, it's much less. You can really concentrate on the subject. I think sometimes with colours, they're can be a bit distracting, and you maybe lose the meaning or the what the photo is really about. But I think with black and white, you can really concentrate on the image. And
that's true.
Things. I mean, the world is such a colourful place that I think things get a bit lost in all the colours sometimes. So sometimes just with black and white, for me anyway, it seems to convey the meaning a little bit stronger, I think.
You're kind of the Woody Allen of still photography.
Something like that, yeah.
And Francis, I was looking through your bio. You've certainly moved around. Did you start out in Europe? Did you? Were you born in Czechoslovakia, or I was just guessing that actually?
No, actually, I was born in Brisbane and grew up here most of my life. After finishing my studies, I first went to Taiwan originally to teach English, and gradually over there started to get into photography more. I had done a bit of study in Australia as well at QCA before that, and but then got to Taiwan and started having a few exhibitions. Had someone, an art gallery, who was quite interested in my work, so they kind of promoted me. So I had a few exhibitions in Taiwan, and started doing a bit of freelance work with magazines, and then doing some jewelry type photos and things like that. Eventually moved on to Hong Kong for a little while. Taught a bit of photography there. Then went to Hungary. It's kind of a long story, but spent quite a few years in Hungary, and was basically running photography courses for expats living there, and I was working for Time Out as a product photographer, and
now you're running courses in Brisbane as well.
Doing the portrait courses, and as well as the beginners photography courses.
Well, it sounds like a lovely way to spend Saturday morning, Francis. So if anyone's interested, it's a portraiture and photographing people course that you teach every second Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Brisbane CBD. Runs for 2 hours. It's held outside as a walking tour and designed to teach you the ins and outs of photographing people. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning, Francis Keating.
Thanks very much. Great to talk to you.
And you, Francis.